My sister sighed. "You're so selfish. You don't deserve to be at my wedding." So I didn't go. But she didn't know I paid for everything. She called me crying 2 weeks later. The background. I 34M have always been the quiet one in the family. My sister Emma 28F is the complete opposite, vibrant, outspoken, and the life of every party. Our parents used to joke that I got all the calm genes while Emma got all the expressive ones. I'm not cold, just reserved. I process things internally, and I've never been one for grand gestures or emotional displays. Growing up, this difference caused some friction. Emma would often complain that I was emotionally unavailable or impossible to read. She'd get frustrated when I wouldn't react with the same enthusiasm she did to things. I remember her 16th birthday when she cried because I didn't seem excited enough about the party our parents threw for her. I was happy for her, I just showed it differently. 6 years ago, our parents died in a car accident within 3 months of each other. Dad first, then Mom from what the doctors called broken heart syndrome, though it presented as a stroke. It devastated us both, but in different ways. Emma grieved loudly, crying at the funerals, sharing emotional posts online, creating memorial videos. I went quiet, handled all the paperwork, the estate, the insurance, made sure Emma could finish college with the life insurance money. Since then, it's been just the two of us. I took on the role of both brother and parent in many ways. I made sure Emma had what she needed, helped her move into her first apartment, was there when she called at 2 a.m. after breakups. I did it quietly, practically the only way I knew how. When Emma met Jason 30M 2 years ago, I was genuinely happy for her. He seemed like a good match, energetic like her, but with a steadying influence. They got engaged after 18 months, and Emma was ecstatic. The old pattern continued, though. She complained that I didn't jump up and down when they announced their engagement. What she didn't see was me taking them out to a nice dinner to celebrate, or the hours I spent researching reliable wedding vendors for them. The request. About 8 months ago, Emma and Jason came over to my place for dinner. After we ate, Emma started dropping hints about wedding costs. "Wedding venues are insane these days," she sighed dramatically. "And don't even get me started on catering prices." Jason looked uncomfortable. "We're trying to figure out how to make it work with what we've saved," he added. Emma nodded. "Jason's parents can help a little, but they're not exactly rolling in cash." I listened as they described their dream wedding, a rustic barn venue. Around 100 guests, good food, live music. Nothing outrageous, but definitely not cheap in our area. "Have you set a budget?" I asked. Emma looked at Jason, then back at me. "Well, that's kind of why we wanted to talk to you. I know you're good with money, and..." She hesitated. "I was wondering if you could help us plan within our budget. Maybe even contribute a little?" I know it's a lot to ask. I could see the hope in her eyes. "Let me think about it," I replied. That night, after they left, I reviewed my finances. I'd been saving steadily since our parents died, living below my means despite my software development salary. I had a substantial amount set aside that I'd been planning to use for investment property. I made a decision that night. My sister would have her dream wedding. The plan. The next day, I contacted several wedding planners in our area and eventually hired Melissa, who seemed efficient and discreet. I explained my situation. I want to pay for my sister's entire wedding, but I don't want her to know it's coming from me. Can we make that work? Melissa was intrigued. "That's unusual. May I ask why?" "My sister and we show love differently. If she knows I'm paying, she'll either refuse out of pride or feel obligated to include me in every decision. I just want her to have what she wants without complications." Melissa agreed to the arrangement. We would tell Emma that a combination of family funds from our late father's side was covering the cost distant cousins who wanted to help but couldn't attend. Emma had never been close with Dad's side of the family, so she wouldn't question it too deeply. I transferred the first payment to Melissa the next day, $45,000 as an initial budget, with the understanding that I would cover any additional costs as needed. When Emma called me a week later, she was ecstatic. "You won't believe what happened," she squealed. "Jason and I met with this amazing wedding planner, and she told us that Dad's family wants to contribute to the wedding. They're covering almost everything. Can you believe it?" "That's great news," I replied, feeling a quiet satisfaction. "I'm happy for you." The planner said they want to remain anonymous, probably Uncle Robert organizing it. You know how he always liked to play benefactor. Anyway, now we can have the wedding we wanted. I listened as she detailed her plans, making appropriate comments whenever she paused for breath. The budget eventually grew to just over $58,000 covering the venue, catering for 120 guests, flowers, photography, her dress, the band, and all the little details Emma had always dreamed of. For the next 6 months, I stayed involved peripherally. Emma would call to update me on wedding plans, never suspecting I had already received the same updates from Melissa. I made suggestions when asked, but mostly just listened. Every time she mentioned how lucky they were that Dad's family came through, I simply nodded. The confrontation. 2 weeks before the wedding, Emma invited me over to see her dress after the final fitting. When I arrived at her apartment, she was already wearing a beautiful off-white gown with intricate lace details. "What do you think?" she asked, twirling around. "It looks nice," I said, nodding appreciatively. "It suits you." Her face fell immediately. "Nice? That's it. It's my wedding dress, Mark. Can't you muster up a little more enthusiasm than nice?" I tried to recover. "I mean, you look beautiful in it. Really." But the damage was done. Emma's eyes welled with tears. "This is so typical of you. The biggest day of my life is coming up, and you can't even pretend to be excited for me." "I am excited for you, Emma." "No, you're not." She cut me off. "You've been like this about everything. When Jason proposed, when we set the date, when we found the venue, every single milestone, you've just sat there with that blank expression." I remained quiet, which only seemed to frustrate her more. Do you have any idea how hard it is to share good news with someone who never reacts, who never shows any emotion? It's like talking to a wall. All my life I've had to deal with your emotional constipation. I flinched at that, but she didn't notice. Even now, when I'm literally standing here in my wedding dress, you can't manage more than nice. Do you even care about me at all? Or are you so wrapped up in yourself that you can't spare a single genuine emotion for your only sister? The words stung, but I remained composed. Years of practice. "I do care about you, Emma, very much." She scoffed. "Well, you have a funny way of showing it." She turned away, wiping angry tears. When she faced me again, her expression had hardened. "You know what? I don't think you should come to the wedding." That caught me off guard. "What?" "You heard me. If you can't be genuinely happy for me, if you can't show a single shred of emotion on the most important day of my life, then I don't want you there bringing everyone down with your apathy." "Emma, that's not fair." "No, what's not fair is having a brother who's emotionally checked out all the time, who makes every happy moment feel diminished somehow." She was on a roll now, years of frustration pouring out. "You're so selfish, Mark. Everything is always on your terms, with your level of emotion, which is basically none. You don't deserve to be at my wedding. I want people there who can actually celebrate with me, not stand in the corner looking bored." I stood there, absorbing her words. Part of me wanted to tell her everything about the wedding payments, about how I'd been taking care of her in my own way for years. But another part knew it would only make things worse. It would seem like I was throwing my financial support in her face. So I simply nodded. "If that's what you want." "It is," she said firmly, though I could see uncertainty flicker in her eyes, like she was expecting me to fight back. I didn't. "Okay, I hope you have a beautiful wedding, Emma." And I left. The wedding day. On Emma's wedding day, I stayed home. I sent a check for a modest amount so as not to raise suspicions, and a handwritten card wishing her and Jason happiness. I tried not to think about what was happening at the barn venue I'd paid for, with the string quartet I'd approved the contract for, under the flower arrangements I'd secretly added extra budget for, because I knew how much Emma loved peonies. Throughout the day, I received a few confused texts from cousins and family friends. "Are you running late? Everything okay? Emma said you weren't feeling well." I didn't respond. Emma had made her choice, and I would respect it. I spent the day working on a coding project, trying to ignore the hollow feeling in my chest. That evening, I received a single picture from Melissa, Emma, and Jason having their first dance, both glowing with happiness. She'd sent it with a brief message. "Everything went perfectly. Thought you might want to see this." I stared at the photo for a long time. Emma looked radiant. In the background, I could see the rustic beams decorated with the fairy lights she'd wanted, the band on the small stage, guests at tables with the exact centerpieces she'd described to me months ago. All of it possible because of money she didn't know came from me. I felt a complex mix of emotions: pride that I'd given her this perfect day, sadness that I couldn't be there to see it in person, and a lingering hurt from her words. But mostly, I felt peace. I'd done what I set out to do, Give my sister the wedding of her dreams. No strings attached. The revelation. 2 weeks passed. Emma and Jason went to Bali for their honeymoon, also largely funded by me, though they thought it was part of the family gift. I went back to my routine, wondering if our relationship would ever recover. Then on a Tuesday evening, my phone rang. It was Emma. I hesitated before answering. Hello? All I heard was sobbing. Emma? What's wrong? Are you okay? Mark, she finally managed between sobs. Mark, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What happened? Are you hurt? It's Jason. We just met with Melissa to thank her, she interrupted, her voice breaking. She told us everything. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? She told us where the money really came from. That it was you. That you paid for everything, the venue, the food, my dress, even our honeymoon. All of it. I closed my eyes. She shouldn't have done that. Why didn't you tell me? Emma demanded, a fresh wave of sobs breaking through. All this time I thought it was Dad's family. Why did you let me believe that? Would you have accepted if you knew it was from me? There was a telling silence. That's why, I said quietly. I wanted you to have the wedding you dreamed of, without complications. But I said such horrible things to you. I uninvited you from the wedding that you paid for. How could you just accept that? Why didn't you say something? I took a deep breath. Because it wasn't about me, Emma. It was about you having your perfect day. She was really crying now. But I was so awful to you. I called you selfish when you were literally paying for my entire wedding in secret. I'm the selfish one. I've always been the selfish one. You're not selfish, I said. We're just different. We always have been. But I should have seen it, she insisted. All these years you've been taking care of me in your own way. After Mom and Dad died, you handled everything. You were always there when I needed you, even if you weren't demonstrative about it. I let her talk, let her process the revelation in her own way. I feel horrible, she finally said. The things I said to you, about not deserving to be at the wedding, about being emotionally constipated. God, I'm so ashamed. It's okay, I told her. No, it's not. Nothing about this is okay. I judged you because you didn't express emotions the way I wanted you to, while you were literally spending your savings to make me happy. I was quiet for a moment. Emma, you've always thought I don't feel things deeply because I don't show them the way you do. But that's never been true. I just express love differently. I see that now, she whispered. I've been so blind. Can I come over? She asked suddenly. I need to see you to apologize properly. An hour later, Emma was at my door, eyes red and puffy. Jason was with her, looking deeply uncomfortable. As soon as I opened the door, Emma threw her arms around me. I'm sorry, she repeated into my shoulder. I'm so sorry. I patted her back awkwardly. It's okay, really. Jason stepped forward when Emma finally released me. Mark, I don't even know what to say. What you did for us, I had no idea. Thank you isn't enough. I shrugged. You make her happy. That's what matters. We moved to the living room, and Emma couldn't stop apologizing. Finally, I held up a hand to stop her. Emma, listen to me. You were right about one thing. I am bad at showing emotion. I always have been. But that doesn't mean I don't feel it. She nodded, wiping her eyes. You've always thought I don't care because I don't express it the way you do. But I've always cared, very deeply. I just show it differently. I know that now, she whispered. You always thought I didn't feel things, I continued quietly. But I do. I just never felt the need to shout about loving my family. I showed it in the ways I knew how. She reached for my hand, squeezing it tight. I'll never make that mistake again. I promise. The aftermath. It's been 6 months since that conversation. Things between Emma and me have changed for the better, I think. She's more patient with my reserved nature. And I'm making more of an effort to verbally express my feelings, even when it feels uncomfortable. Last month, Emma and Jason invited me over for dinner. They'd framed a photo from the wedding, a beautiful shot of them during their first dance, and gave it to me. We wanted you to have this, Emma said. Since you should have been there to see it in person. I thanked them sincerely. As I was leaving, Emma hugged me tightly. You know, for someone who doesn't show emotion, she whispered, you've shown more love than anyone I know. I didn't have words for that, so I just hugged her back. The photo now sits on my desk. Sometimes I look at it and feel a twinge of regret that I wasn't there. But mostly I feel satisfaction. My sister was happy on her wedding day. That's what I wanted all along. Emma and I are learning to bridge the gap between our different emotional languages. She's learning that quiet doesn't mean cold. And maybe I'm learning that sometimes words matter as much as actions. Not all siblings would have reconciled after what happened between us. But then again, not all siblings have been through what we have. When you've lost both parents and only have each other left, you find ways to move forward. I don't regret paying for the wedding, and I don't even regret missing it. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give is one without your name attached to it. And sometimes, the people who seem the most selfish with their emotions are actually giving in ways you never noticed. Emma texted me this morning. Love you, big brother. Thanks for always being there even when I was too blind to see it. And for once, I didn't just reply you too, or send a thumbs up. I wrote, love you too, Emma. Always have, always will. Progress, I guess, for both of us. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect this post to get so much attention. Thank you for all the kind comments. To answer some common questions. Yes, I could have told Emma I was paying when she uninvited me, but that would have felt like emotional manipulation to me. I wanted her to have her day without guilt. No, I don't plan to ask for any money back. It was a gift. Melissa the wedding planner didn't betray my confidence maliciously. Emma and Jason went to thank her personally, and somehow the conversation led to Emma saying something about Dad's family being so generous, and Melissa thought they knew the truth by then. Honest mistake. For those calling my sister entitled or awful, please don't. She's not perfect, but neither am I. We're just two different people who express love in very different ways. She's learning, and so am I.